All right, what is up, everybody? So, ShadowScout0013 here, coming in with another video. This time talking about the new Lando or the updated Lando, and about 4 different Rebel lists that this Yoda Light will be in. And I call him Yoda Light because of the Guidance A Core Trooper unit. So I know Yoda has Guidance A Trooper unit, but still having guidance and a core trooper unit is still very powerful in the things that you can do. So there are about 4 different Rebel lists that I've decided to come up with Lando in there, and a lot of them will, utilize allies of convenience as well, or at least have a lot of, underworld connection type things. So kind of wanted to go over him, especially since he's new, updated, and we'll probably be seeing almost every table that has a Rebel list playing on that table. I feel like he's going to be constantly stapled from now on into Rebels. So let's go ahead and kind of go over him, but a few housekeeping things first. The giveaway, I'll go ahead and do that live in just a second. First, I just want to go ahead and talk about the Discord. Head on over there to the Discord, and if you've got stuff that you are looking forward to or talking about or anything like that, like Empire lists or Gar list or anything like that, like if you are, asking a question about specific things, about, maybe ARFs or Delta Squad, since they're going to be very similar points, as Jesse's been pointing out here, feel free to ask. And the more you talk and the more you do stuff, you get entered in to win giveaways. What I do is I go the first day of the giveaway, and each time that your name pops up, you get an entrance into the giveaway. So there are some people here who have multiple entries into the giveaway because you've been on a lot and have leveled up. So kudos to you. If you are a part of the Patreon, you also get more chances to win. Plus, you get everything early, and so feel free to head on over there and help support the channel. So it's really nice for the people who do that. Sorry. And if you are a subscriber and leave a comment, you also get a chance to enter and to win. Each video you comment on, you basically get an entry. So that's basically how the giveaways go. But yeah, this is a great place to kind of talk. We have the league going on now, and at some point I want to get a campaign going. So we'll have a campaign hopefully soon that you guys can be a part of and enter into to, have fun with. And with, the campaign, I was trying to talk it over with a few people, but I know that not everything is out necessarily for the campaign now, but we do at least have something on AMG's website for the campaign. So if you wanted to, what I would suggest for the campaign that maybe we can get started with is, sorry about that, I'm asking Ryan, who usually makes the maps for either Invader League or for our league, if he has a few, like Hoth and or Endor or Yavin maps that can be played, and then along with, like Umbara and Geonosian map and other stuff like that, to kind of make the campaign fun for either one, for either, faction Civil War or Clone War. And each player who just chooses a faction, not a list. And so you're stuck into that faction for the entire campaign. And, so if you wanted to play Rebels, you can pick whatever Rebel list you want to play in the next game. And you don't have to submit a list, you just submit the faction. And then what you'll do is maybe say that you're playing Vader, right? Maybe you're playing Empire, and you play a game against Rebels, and Vader gets taken off the board. Well, you're going to roll a 6-sided dice. If it's a 1 and 2, then he recovers completely. If it is a 3 and 4, maybe he recovers, but he has to sit out the next game. And then a 5 and 6, he's out totally. I mean, those are the 3 options, but it doesn't have to be those numbers. I mean, it can be whatever. But yeah, you'll roll it in front of your opponent, and then your opponent will kind of post, hey, he rolled a 5, so he can no longer play Vader. in the lists anymore. Or maybe he got where he's recovering and he can't play in the next game, something like that, just to have fun with the campaign. So you have at least a 4 out of 6 chance to bring Vader back into another match if you do lose him. But it makes the campaign more fun that way, and a little bit more, and more intense, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that is something different than the league that I would like to get started. If you're interested, comment down below or go into the Discord and let me know. And that way I can get a head count of who would be interested in the campaign, and we can get that started sometime soon. But okay, let's go actually over the giveaway. Let's go ahead and click to spin and see who winds up winning. So congratulations to Hunter Thompson. Congratulations. All you have to do is leave a comment and or hit me up in the Discord, and you will be entered into, or you'll get your Commander expansion pack. So yeah, hit me up and let me get your information. Okay, so let's get to it. So Lando Calrissian. Lando has the new keyword, or not new keyword, but his card is new, and he's got guidance, which is an action to give a core trooper unit the ability to take any action other than an attack action. He's got Allies of Convenience. So Allies of Convenience is really nice because now you don't have to attach Underworld connections, which is really nice. So now if you want to give, any of the mercenary factions an order, you can, like Din, Boba, IG-11, the Bad Batch, especially the Bad Batch, if you wanted to give them an order at all. Ewok Skirmishers, the Pike Syndicate Foot Soldiers, Ewok Slingers, Swoop Bike Riders. If you wanted to give any of them an order, then you can. So it's really nice. I think Bad Batch is going to be great. Maybe I can make a Bad Batch list at the end, since I didn't make a Bad Batch one. I was thinking of other stuff, but yeah, I'll do that afterwards. So he's also got One Step Ahead. So let's just take a look at One Step Ahead and kind of like see what it is. For you guys, I can actually read it. So if one or more allied units have the One Step Ahead keyword, which is Lando, during the resolve command card step after revealing command cards, but before resolving the command card effects, if the number of pips on the revealed command cards do not match, one allied unit with One Step Ahead keyword on the battlefield may make a speed 1 move. Not a climb action, not triggering anything. It's just a speed 1 move. Can't trigger charge. Obviously, he doesn't have charge, or he's got steady, but it doesn't trigger steady. If the number of pips do match, and there is one or more allied units with One Step Ahead keyword on the battlefield, you can choose an allied unit on the battlefield to make a speed 1 move. So if your pips match, you can pick, let's just say Mando, since he's on the battlefield as just an allied unit, and you can make a speed 1 move getting him closer. Or you can do it to, the Ewok Skirmishers and have the Ewok Skirmishers get really close to someone. If they don't match, then you can have just Lando himself get a little bit closer or farther away, whatever. But yeah, One Step Ahead is absolutely nice. Now, steady, obviously, after he makes a move action, he can take a free attack action. And then Uncanny Luck, so whenever you're rolling your defense dice, you can re-roll 2 of them. So it'll make him at least last a little bit longer, especially since he doesn't have Danger Sense or anything else. He has 6 health, 2 courage. He surges to crit, which is really good, and he surges to defense with white dice. He's speed 2. He has 3 black dice in melee, and he's got a red and 3 black at range 1 to 2 as a ranged attack, and then he's got long shot attached to that, so you can spend an aim to make it range 1 to 3. Next, he's going to be great as he's a commander now as well. And so if you just wanted him on the battlefield, you can. As your commander, you don't necessarily have to choose anybody else. He comes with a command slot, a training slot, and a gear slot. So command slot wise, obviously you don't need underworld connections. Vigilance is going to be really good, because if you can, guidance a dodge token onto a rebel trooper, or if you have regular rebel troopers and they make a move, they have agile 1, so they're going to gain a dodge. So then vigilance will be really good, because then if you wanted to even guidance them a move, you know, if they don't have a dodge, then you can, or if you just want to have them take a dodge action, then you can save that dodge with vigilance. That's really good. And with vigilance, it's on 2 allied core units or 1 allied trooper unit that is not a core unit. So it makes really good sense to have vigilance on there if you want to spend 12 points on that. So I highly recommend it. And maybe I'll do that with the list with the Bad Batch. Underworld connections, you don't need. Strict orders, you probably don't need either. Lead by example would be great, especially for rebels when all your core is going to be Courage 1. So lead by example is going to be great to be able to give, Inspire 2 and take off some of their suppression. You don't need Inspiring Presence because you're only Courage 2. It's not necessarily needed. And Improvised Orders is always a great, not must take, but it's a great take. And so having Improvised Orders on him could be a really good thing. Training, some of the good training stuff. You don't need duck and cover because he doesn't benefit necessarily from a lot of it. He doesn't have like danger sense or something like that. So, or low profile. So you really don't necessarily have to have that on there. Endurance could be great because if he panics, you're not going to be able to use his courage value for anybody. And you're checking if someone's panicked constantly. Into the fray, you don't need because he already surges both ways. Offensive push could be really great because of long shot and steady. Being able to take an aim, move, get a second aim. So then you can spend that one aim for long shot, and then a second aim you can spend to re-roll if you need to. On the hunt could be good. Again, if you're planning on shooting any kind of like multi-health unit that's coming at you. Overwatch, not necessarily needed on him. You're probably not going to be... you could be taking a lot of standbys with him, but again, his blaster range is 1 to 2, so maybe if you take an aim standby, sure, but you're probably going to be using guidance as an action a lot, and then maybe moving. And then you get a free attack action after that move. So you'll probably guidance, move, possibly attack. So, like I said, offensive push or on the hunt is probably going to be better. He doesn't have Guardian, so you don't need Protector. Seize the Initiative could be amazing to have, especially if you have him a part of a hero hammer, or if you have a lot of heroes with a lot of command cards, then Seize the Initiative is great on him. Situational Awareness, I don't even think that's necessarily needed as much anymore because of the cover rules and everything like that. You have more hits coming through all the time, so blocking one hit's not going to do very much, but... since he is a commander and, you might not want to have him hit all the time, situational awareness could be good, but I say that his 1 pip gives him infiltrate and incognito. So unless he's making an attack, no one's going to be able to shoot him beyond range 1 anyway. So I don't think it's needed at all. Tenacity, well, I don't think you're trying to get him into melee. And up close and personal could work if you wanted to make sure to get a dodge on him. I just think that he doesn't necessarily need anything to make him good. I think he's already going to be pretty decent by himself. Like I said, I think on offensive push is probably the top pick besides Seize the Initiative. So that's my opinion. And then for gear, sure, if you wanted to make him a support and have portable scanners or electro binoculars and then guidance another dodge onto someone and giving them 2 dodges on a core, I should say, then that could work. Maybe if you set up portable scanners on him and then you set up portable scanners on another core unit for maybe Luke or somebody, then you could give Luke 2 dodges immediately. And you don't have Exemplar, so taking a dodge isn't really going to do much. So that's why I say maybe portable scanners and electro binoculars isn't necessarily needed. Maybe prepared supplies. You don't need recon because you're going to have infiltrate when you divulge. You don't need targeting scopes because I just doubt you're probably going to be spending the aim for long shot, if anything, because you already searched crit. And I wouldn't want to waste 4 points like that. And then, so maybe, environmental gear could be good because the difficult terrain's not going to slow you down. And so if you're trying to measure for range and you have to slow down a little bit, that's going to hurt you, especially with only a range 2 shot. So environmental gear I can see, and even emergency stems could be good if you're really trying to keep him alive. With uncanny luck and 6 health and emergency stems, he's probably going to be a little harder to kill than normal, even though he's got white dice. But with those 3 being the only ones, there's not very many options, but I think he's just good on his own. So I'll go into the 4 different, lists that I've made. So we have Lando with offensive push. We have Leia with improvised orders and portable scanner. We have 2 fleet troopers with the scattergun and the astromechs. We have 1 fleet trooper with the scattergun, emergency stims, and impact grenade. Now you can change the impact grenades for smoke grenades, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but I think the emergency stims is good because, again, it's if you do at the end of this unit's next activation, this unit's going to remove the wound tokens from this card and suffer wounds equal to it. So if you put them in the bus, which this unit is going to be in a bus, and you get shot at before you get to activate, you can emergency stims those 2 wounds and then still get to make your charge attack or your at least ranged attack or whatever it is with the full amount of people, and then you'll take those wounds. So that's not bad. That's pretty decent to have. Now you have Ewok skirmishers, 1 of them with the Axe Ewok, the Ewok Trapper, Call to Arms, and Forest Dwellers. And then you have another one with the Axe Ewok, the Ewok Trapper, the Squad, Call to Arms, and Forest Dwellers. And then another one with just the Axe Ewok and Forest Dwellers. Now, as you see, I have 3, mercenary units in here. Well, with Lando having Allies of Convenience, you can technically take 3 mercenary core units, I should say. You will be able to take 2 Ewok slingers, and then you'll again be able to hand out orders to these guys if you wanted. But Allies of Convenience, you can have 2 swoop bikes also if you wanted. It allows you to take an extra mercenary unit, just not like you can't have 3 swoop bikes because you're only allowed to have 1, and then it allows you to take 1 more in a whatever faction. So you can do that. Let me just read it for you. Yeah, if you don't understand it. So units with Allies of Convenience keyword can issue orders to friendly mercenary units regardless of affiliation. And additionally, when building an army, players may include 1 extra mercenary unit in their army regardless of rank. So if there's at least 1 unit with the Allies of Convenience keyword, although they cannot take more units of a particular rank than normally allowed. So you can't take like 3 swoop bikes because you're only allowed 1, and then Allies of Convenience can give you a second one. So you're only allowed 2 core mercenary units, but if you have allies, you can bring an extra one. So that's where the 3 come in. And then you've got 3 ATRTs with the laser cannon. You have 2 speeder trucks, 1 with the unorthodox tactician and Shriv. So this is going to be your support bus. Shriv's going to be handing out dodges. If you want a suppression, you can take one, but at least, so like low profile, if you are in light cover, you'll have it and stuff like that. So if something is not there and you need it to give a suppression to the Ewok skirmishers, well, their courage, they'd be suppressed. So they would be able to benefit from their low profile wherever, but you don't have to give out that suppression token. It says just may gain a suppression token, doesn't mean you have to. And then unorthodox tactician is like whenever this unit activates, you're going to roll 3 red defense dice, and for each block or surge, you're going to choose a different friendly unit at range 3, and then each chosen unit gains an aim token. So this will allow your units to keep moving and shooting rather than staying still and shooting. So if you wanted to even give all 3 Ewoks an aim, since you have call to arms on 2 of these guys, which gives them charge, you can double move, have an aim, and still charge. So that'll be amazing to have. You can also, again, do that to maybe the fleets here. With the emergency stims impact grenades, you can give them an aim, basically, and then they can double move to charge rather than taking an aim and shooting, or, taking an aim and moving to charge. You can get farther. So that is the Shriv bus. And then the speeder truck here with Backworld Medic and HQ uplink. The reason I have Backworld Medic and HQ uplink on there is because let's just say that you use the emergency stims after the fleets have already activated. So maybe you get these guys out of the bus, they aren't shot at yet, and then so maybe like you double move and they have an aim because you put them in the Shriv bus, and then they also have a dodge because after they got out, they got a dodge, and they already have the aim because basically the unorthodox is when you activate, you're going to do that, and then you can probably give it to the guys in the bus, and then when Shriv, after they get out, they can get a dodge. So now they have an aim and a dodge, and then a face-up order token. Well, maybe they double move, they attack, they have to shoot, per se. Okay, they're in heavy cover, they have a dodge, they get shot. And they maybe spend their dodge, and they take 2 wounds. All right, well, emergency stems that. Okay, so now the guys are good. And so now you've gone with the other bus. The guys are not down that round, so you can't use it. Well, you use HQ uplink round 2, or whatever the next round is, and then you go with the fleets. They lose the 2 guys, and then now you at least have an order on the speeder truck. So now you move up with the speeder truck, and you backrolled medic. Or if the speeder truck is already in range because you decided to double move round 1, like you move, you get rid of your payload, you move out again, so that way they're kind of slightly maybe providing line of sight blocking from one angle to the fleets. Well, the next round, you HQ uplink, you go with the fleets first, they take 2 wounds. Now you backworld medic, and then you recover. So the next turn, you still have an HQ uplink to make sure you use the backworld medic when you need him most. And even with, the emergency stems, you can recover it because it's exhaustible. So you can recover and eventually do it again if you wanted to. And since you're getting free aims and dodges from the support bus, you have the ability, if you don't need to move, to recover. So it's very helpful. And this is 13 activations, so you're getting a lot out of these 13 activations. With your battle plans, I have breakthrough because you're going to be getting close. You have skirmishers, 2 of them have charge. You have the fleets, which have charge, and you've got buses and ATRTs that can be moving in pretty quickly. So, and you have 13 activations, so you're going to be able to do a lot with that. With Bunker Assault, like I said, you've got a lot of activations to be able to move in, and then Recover the Research with 13 activations. You can kind of spread out a little if you need to, especially with ATRTs, with range 4 gun. I mean, you're good to go. Sweep and Clear, Recon, and Surface, and Advanced Intel, Garrison, and Cunning Deployment. I have Garrison on there to either get the Fleet Troopers or maybe the one of the Ewoks on there, but since they all have Forest Dwellers, they all have Scouts, you don't necessarily have to have that, so maybe one of these other fleets with the Astromech can be on there so that the Astromech can be in a good spot to heal the bus or the ATRTs. And because you've got 5 vehicles on the board, these 2 Astromechs are going to be working probably pretty hard. So that's the first list with Lando and Leia. So Leia's 2-pip, you can, and I'm going to have to go over Lando's cards because I completely forgot about that. I'm so sorry, guys. I was just very excited to get to these. So Leia Organa, with her 2-pip, you can also take a free move action with the Fleet Troopers and or Ewok Skirmishers, and then you have Lando who can guidance the Ewok Skirmishers and the Fleet Troopers. So this list specifically is very, very mobile and all about moving. Now, if you didn't want, someone on here and you rearranged it, like maybe you didn't want the Skirmisher squad, or maybe you just didn't want this whole unit, you can trade this for Jin. And I'm sure Jin would do a lot for you. She's only 75 points. So, and she's good by herself with no upgrades. So if you wanted to get rid of, like I said, the whole, one of these whole squads and maybe get rid of Forest Dwellers on one of them to put them in the bus, then you could. And then you've got an even more mobile list. So yeah. All right, let's go over Lando's command cards real quick. I apologize, guys. So, Calrissian Spike. So, at the start of Lando Calrissian's next activation, he can choose up to 1 enemy unit within range 2 and in line of sight. If he does, you can roll 2 red attack dice and resolve the effects shown below for each matching result. So, if you get 2 blanks, the chosen unit is going to gain 4 mobilized tokens. If you get 1 blank, the chosen unit gets 2 mobilized tokens. If it's a hit or surge, the chosen unit is going to get 1 immobilized token. And if it's a crit, well, Lando himself will gain 2 immobilized tokens. So this is a great way to slow down a unit. Maybe this is a great way to, if you have a Jedi coming in, give them 2 immobilized tokens, or maybe give them 3 immobilized tokens, or up to 4 immobilized tokens, or just maybe 1 and then give yourself some. So this is going to stop, definitely stop speed 1 units if you can give them an immobilized token. Can definitely stop some Jedi, or at least slow them down if they don't have burst of speed. Or if you wind up getting 4 immobilized tokens, then well, they're screwed. And the biggest thing that you definitely want is the divulge step. So resolve setup effects. You're going to have Lando Calrissian gain infiltrate and incognito. So he's going to be able to infiltrate anywhere in your deployment zone, and with incognito, no one can shoot him beyond range 1 unless he makes himself known by making an attack or securing a POI. Then his incognito is up. But this is huge. This is really, really nice. And it's a 1-pip. Ace up his sleeve is considered a 2-pip, but shows a 1-pip, so you'll have priority more than likely. So when you're building a command hand, you're going to treat this card as though it has 2 pips. So if this card is in your command hand during the resolve command card effects step of the command phase. So when, say you lay down Leia's 2-pip and you tie. Well, okay, so before resolving everything, during the resolve command card effects, after revealing the command cards, but before resolving command card effects, so before doing whatever the command cards say, you can return that Leia's 2-pip to your hand, or whatever card it is, back to your hand, and play this card instead, and treat this card as having been selected, played, and revealed instead of that card. So you're going to be like, ignore what I said. Do not put that in the books, jury. Ignore everything that you just saw, and consider this card instead. So now, instead of playing a 2-pip and maybe you tied, well, all right, now you're going to go first because you played a 1-pip. So this card is really good now, and it's going to give it to 2 units. It's going to give it to Lando and somebody else. So this is such a good card now. Ace up his sleeve, I think, is great to have, because you're returning the other card back to your hand, other than discarding it like Hans would. And then Idiot's Array. This is a 3-pip, Lando Calrissian, and 2 units. And this is going to be good, because you want units with a face-up order token around Lando making attacks. So if you have, another unit with Seize the Initiative close to Lando, so maybe you have, I don't know, just whatever other unit, like anyone with Seize the Initiative. So until the end of this round, each time an allied unit with a face-up order token makes an attack, if the defending unit is within range 2 and in line of sight of Lando, and if the attack pool that they rolled contains at least 1 blank, surge, and hit result during the re-roll dice step, you can change 1 hit and 1 surge into crits. So you're basically manipulating the dice. So this is a great way to make sure you're getting more crits through. If your units are with a face-up order token are attacking someone that's within range 2 and in line of sight of Lando. So Lando, again, I think Lando wants to be in front, because obviously with incognito, no one's shooting him unless they're getting really, really close. And then you want to be in front because you're wanting to guidance units. And I think guidance is at range 2. So you've got lots of wiggle room to make sure that you have range to everybody. And so Lando is going to be so good. All right, so let's go to the next one. The next list has Luke Skywalker. So Lando with offensive push. And again, the reason I have Lando with offensive push is, you can guidance, you're probably going to want to guidance something, and then you're probably going to want to move. And if you move, you're probably moving towards someone getting really close to your line so that you can guidance maybe another core trooper, the unit that is about to be attacked, or trying to get close to that unit as well. So maybe you've positioned your core unit to where they're behind cover and either they can't be seen so that way they're staying safe, or maybe they've taken a shot that round at someone else, and so now someone's coming around your flank. Well, now you have Lando basically maybe take a move, pop offensive push to get an aim, take a free steady shot with long shot, and then you guidance. And you guidance that core unit that can't be seen, that already has taken a shot, getting towards the unit coming at you. So that way, next round, you have that advantage. So you have him with offensive push, and that's why he's got offensive push. Next, you have Luke Skywalker with burst of speed, force push, force reflexes, and into the fray. And then you've got 2 fleet troopers with the scatter gun. You've got 1 trooper with portable scanners. You've got 2 rebel troopers, again, with the MPL-57 Ion troopers. So now you've got some impact and ion, which is really nice, especially nowadays with all the armor that you're seeing. And I have a naked, rebel trooper unit in here with portable scanners, because you can, like I was mentioning earlier, use Lando to guidance an action of maybe portable scanners from these rebel troopers to give Luke a dodge, since you can't just have Lando hand out a dodge to Luke unless you decide to give him, portable scanners instead of offensive push, and make him, again, just specifically a support unit. And since offensive push and portable scanners are the same price, well, there you go. You can make sure that you swap out the upgrades, and that gives Luke Skywalker possibly 2 dodges. Again, having Lando give out a dodge, and then guidancing the fleet troopers with portable scanners to give Luke a dodge. And then now he's set up, he can use force reflexes, he's got 3 dodges, and then he can burst of speed and move in and charge. So yeah, you're loading him up. And then you've got 2 Rebel Sleeper Cells with the Astromech, who are gaining some dodges. You've got 2 ATRTs with the laser cannon. And then you have an AA5 with Shriv and Unorthodox Tactician. So that way, if you, again, need to give Luke more tokens, you can. If you wanted to give the Fleet Troopers the tokens, you can. Or the Rebel Troopers with the Ion Gun. Or the Sleeper Cells. I mean, everyone can definitely use an aim. I mean, it's so good. Even the ATRTs, if they need to move to get an objective or closer to an objective. And with the Rebel ones surging to crit, yeah, it's so nice and so annoying to go up against. I'm so sorry, Empire. But yeah, that's a tough one. 12 activations though, and so Luke Skywalker is a big one in here. Lando trying to guidance the fleets. Maybe they can, you infiltrate with Lando after you've gone with the fleets. Maybe you've double moved with the fleets, and now you can tell Lando, hey, I'm going to guidance you up one, since he can infiltrate and he doesn't have to move up. And then you've already put the second fleet in the speeder truck. So now you don't have to worry about having 2 speeder trucks, trying to move up your fleets. Or obviously you can put a sleeper cell in the speeder truck, but why skip out on scout and leave these guys trying to move up twice? Have one in the bus, have one guidance up, and then your sleeper cells. So now you have more units forward, in my opinion. And then 12 activations is still really pretty good. And this Rebel Trooper is just kind of helping Luke, staying around Luke, providing even the backup, since it's a core unit, and it at range 3 can provide the backup to cancel 2 hits. It can give Luke a dodge, and then maybe you, again, guidance. So, yeah, that's what I like about this one. You've got a lot of mercenaries in this one. And playing Shadow Collective as much as I have, I've come to love the Pike Syndicate, especially with their danger sense and the amount of dodges that you put. You have your Pike Capo who gets independent and then can aid that dodge over to any of the foot soldiers. And then you can take a dodge, which gives another dodge token. So if you have 1 Pike Capo for every 2 core units, then you're basically going to be able to give out 2 dodges every round. Now, if you don't feel like having to deal with as much suppression on the Pike Capo, well, alright, so aid your independent dodge, gain a suppression, and then if you don't roll it off, at least you have portable scanner, and then you can move, and at the end of the round, you have no more suppression. So portable scanners is great on them, even though you don't necessarily have to have it. It's just a matter of, do you feel like suppressing your pike capo, especially when it's starting to get to where you're trying to defend a POI and you don't want to aid anything else because you don't want to panic. Portable scanners is great to have. This time, Lando has only improvised orders. You have a capo with portable scanner. You have Din with tenacity up close, the flame projector, his jetpack, and his Beskar spear. He's very loaded out, but I absolutely love this loadout on him. And, you know, again, with the one step ahead, being able to match pips and give Din the ability to do a free speed one move up, and then maybe you've played the one where he can get 2 free attack actions, like a 2-pip, and maybe you match the 2 pips, you give him a free speed one move, and then you can move, attack, and then you've got some aims from all of that. So that is really, really nice. And okay, so as far as I know, you generate the aims or dodges from the free move. You just don't generate steady or relentless from free move actions, and you can't climb. But if I am not mistaken, you know, you give Din that one step ahead, he gains the aim because it's a move. Yeah, but it's a free move. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments, and that'll also enter you in to win the giveaway. So let me know your thoughts. But yeah, being able to give a free move to Din and gain that tactical, if that's correct. And then he gets from that card, I think, a free aim as well. So I like those odds. He's going to get, yeah, so that's 2 aims you got for 2 different attacks. And then you've got up close and personal for that to gain more dodges. And he's going to have an independent aim and dodge. So you're really loading him up with tons and tons of tokens to make him a lot more fun and get him even closer for his flame projector to go off, which is really great. And then maybe the next round you use, you know, his relentless attacks. And it, you know, he's going to be able to gain a dodge from that card and then double move, gain 2 aims, and then just go ham with his Beskar spear because, you know, being able to spend an aim for duelist and then another aim for lethal on his vibro knife, giving you pierce 2, and then with tenacity, if he's got a wound, you're going to be getting some stuff through. So Din's going to be a lot more lethal. I think with the help of Lando giving him that free move if you need to, and then with allies or with guidance, you know, if you needed to guidance a core trooper unit that had portable scanners, if you decided to do that again, or electric binoculars to give Din another aim or dodge, it's very, very helpful. This one, the fleets have the scattergun, the rebel officer, because courage 2 units are amazing. Emergency stems and impact grenades. You can also swap out impact grenades for smoke grenades in case you had to go with them earlier and you wanted to provide more cover that's not on the field. Impact grenades, you know, it's just, you can use them in melee, and they have a lot of stuff in melee. Impact 4 for in replacement of 2 white, giving them a black. I think that's so much better. So yeah, and that's, I've already gone over the emergency stems thing. You've got a Pike Syndicate Foot Soldier with the Electro Whip and the Pike Capo. The free move action, again, from one step ahead, doesn't specifically say you can't do it to mercenary units. So if you wanted to get this Electro Whip unit a little closer so that you can kind of go with them next if you need to, then that's going to be helpful because the Electro Whip is only range 1. So, and melee to range 1, I should say. But getting that extra free move action to get closer is definitely wanted and needed. You've got 2 Rebel Troopers with the Ion Trooper. You've got 2 more Pike Syndicate Foot Soldiers with the Disruptor and the Capo. Again, I love the Pikes because you're rolling 7 black dice and then an extra red die. So 8 dice at range 3. Impact 1, you have a free surge token because you have the Pike Capo, and your Courage 2. So now you have the Fleet Troopers Courage 2, 3 Pike Syndicate Foot Soldiers Courage 2, so that's 4 of your core that are Courage 2 out of 6, and then you've got some, Courage 1 Rebel Troopers that are all shooting at range 3, so you're good there. And then you've got 2 Rebel Sleeper Cells with the Astromech, so again, more Courage 2, and then you have a Shriv bus by himself to carry these Fleet Troopers with emergency stems. Now, you don't have any way to heal them, so there is nothing really you can do other than hopefully just use those emergency stems to take on more hits. And you could give emergency stems to the Pikes. That would make them so much more annoying. So maybe you gave the emergency stems to the Pike Capos instead. And let's see, give the emergency stems and the impact grenades on the Electro Whip Soldier. So now you put them in the bus, they get an order, well, they don't get a dodge or a surge. Okay, well, guess what? You can Pike Capo aid the unit in the bus. I've already asked this in the huge Discord with everybody, and the consensus is that you can aid the independent dodge from the Pike Capo to the Pike Foot Soldiers in the bus. So now they at least have that dodge. And then you maybe move the bus on, and then hopefully you do the Pike Capo after you've moved the Pike Foot Soldiers on there, and then you can move onto the board and give them portable scanners dodge. So now they have 2 dodges at least. In Shadow Collective, usually what I'll do is I'll take 2 Pike Capos, so then they can both aid their dodges to the foot soldiers that are in the bus. And then hopefully if you have, cunning deployment, you give them a 3rd dodge, and now they're all set up. And then, you put them on the battlefield, they take a dodge, move up and do something. I don't know. It's lots of ways to do stuff there. And then you give them the emergency stems on top of Danger Sense and all of the dodges they have with Outmaneuver naturally attached to them. These guys are going to be impossible to kill, and then maybe you top that off with a backworld medic. Yeah, you talk about the most annoying white dice units in the game. Pike Foot Soldiers with emergency stems and a backworld medic, because the backworld medic is also going to give them suppression possibly, and then they're just going to use that suppression for Danger Sense, and it's so good. It's so much fun. And then with the Electro Whip, melee to range 1, and the impact grenades, melee to range 1, you could definitely, immobilize a vehicle, because immobilize doesn't discriminate between trooper and vehicle. So if you're really looking to really hinder, those snail tanks or those aqua droids or whatever it is, Electro Whip is the way to go with these guys in the bus. And that's why I also have the Pike Capo, is to be able to make sure that these guys, if you do put them in the bus, get a dodge somehow still. And then the Rebel Sleeper Cells just come up. And while everyone is trying to make sure they take out these guys, no one is shooting at the other guys moving around. And then you've all got like range 2, except for your Fleet Troopers right here, with the Rebel Officer. If you put them in there, then maybe you don't need the Rebel Officer, which saves you a bunch of points. And then maybe you decide to put the extra 16 points on here on your Rebel Sleeper Cells with emergency stems. Let's try to... okay, I don't want to say let's bring back emergency stems because I don't want to go up against it. But if you want to ruin your opponent's fun, emergency stems is the way to go. And I'm just going to leave that right there. So, boom. Let's update Lando Mando. Alright, so Lando Mando. That is that list. And lastly, Lando Calrissian with improvised orders. Jyn Erso by herself, naked. Well, she's going to have clothes on, but she's got no upgrades. I'll go over in another video, Jyn with agile, disengage, independent move, infiltrate, nimble, sharpshooter. Just a keyword soup that is so... She is a mosquito. She's so good and so annoying. You gotta do something about her. So just having her with no upgrades is still going to be the most annoying thing for your opponent. You have Fleet Troopers with the Scattergun and Emergency Stems, because I'm starting to really love this. The Fleet Troopers with another Fleet Trooper unit with Scattergun. You have 2 units of Ewok Skirmishers with just the Forest Dweller upgrades to give them the Dodge and Scout. 2 Rebel Troopers with the Ion, because Ion is one of the most annoying keywords right now, especially for Shadow Collective Mandos. You can't recharge those shields, and Ion's taking one of those shields away, and you don't even get to spend it, so what's the point in 10 points? Just emergency stems your Mandos. 2 Rebel Sleeper Cells with the Astromech to be able to get that free dodge when you're around a POI. 2 ATRTs with the Laser Cannon. You've got a X-34 Land Speeder with the RPS Rocket Gunner. The Ion Pilot Blaster, I should say. And the Hotshot Pilot, so that you're getting Sharpshooter 1, and the Unstable Astromech to make an extra attack, making sure that the Ion really sticks to whoever you're trying to put it on. So this is a deadly combination, and especially with the Ion having Impact 1, Critical 1, Ion 1, and then the Rocket Launcher having Impact 2, so Impact 3, Ion 1, Critical 1, you're definitely going to be able to shoot armor and dent it severely. So I love this little combo. And then you have a Shriv AA5, because I absolutely love the truck myself, especially since I've just been playing Shadow Collective kind of like normal now. It's kind of one of my absolute favorite, factions, well, battle forces. But yeah, this is a 14 activation list. You've got a ton of armor in here between 2 ATRTs, a land speeder, and a speeder truck. With the land speeder also having cover 1. If you wanted to change the hotshot pilot to the speeder jockey, you'd have to get rid of a few points somewhere to have it have cover 2 to make it even harder to kill, and it has armor 2. Arsenal 3, like I said, give it cover 2, armor 2 would be amazing. Armor 5 here, armor 2, scouts. This is a very anti-armor list with some Pierce and Jin Urso running around. So if you wanted to even change out Jin to be with the Pike foot soldiers, and then if there's a way to be able to get rid of a unit of maybe the Rebel Sleeper Cells and put Jin in there instead, holy crap. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do that for you guys right now, because talk about one of the most annoying / fun lists that you'd want to play. You have 8 points still left over with what you want to do. So guess what those 8 points can do? They can go on. Let's see. You don't have a medic, and that's 12 points. Well, maybe you get rid of the emergency stems on the Rebel Sleeper Cell. And now you have 16 points. All right, let's see if we can put a Backworld medic on there. And now we need to find 4 points, which I don't think is going to be that hard. Maybe let's get rid of impact grenades just for now. You've got impact between the MPL 57 Ion and the P13. Now you have to get rid of 1. All right, you know what? Portable scanners was a fun option on there, but you don't have to have it. So let's give the the emergency stems onto Jin. Make her even more annoying. And so now you have improvised orders once. Why not have it twice? To make sure that you're really going for that bus, since it doesn't have an HQ uplink. Boom. There you go. They don't know whether to go for Den. They don't know whether to go to Jin. Den, Jin, Pikes, Sleepers. They don't. Yeah, this is going to be a very fun one. Well, not for your opponent. But yeah. The 14 act list is going to be a lot of fun as well. That is it. All right, so if you guys want to stay for another build with, the Bad Batch, feel free. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for everything you do. Please subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Head on over to the Discord. and become a member. And feel free to, try to start leveling up on the server level to get more ways to enter and to win. Congratulations to Hunter Thompson for your expansion pack. And all right, let's go over this real quick. So we have Lando. Let's go ahead and put the Bad Batch in there because we'll be able to give them an order. And since they don't have independent, it doesn't matter if they get an order, which is great. That's not bad. All right, so now we have Bad Batch with Omega because Omega is going to be great for the I'm part of the squad too, and contesting a unit or a POI at range 1. Let's see, maybe, and that's especially his 2-pip, which is basically a 1-pip ace up his sleeve. So you go with them first and give them an order to let them go now. That's going to be very, very powerful. Let's go ahead and give them the 3-pip. So now we have a 2-pip and a 1-pip left. Let's see. If we need some core, so let's go with some core units. Let's do 2 Rebel Troopers and let's do a Fleet Troopers. Fleet Troopers, let's give a Scattergun. With the Rebel Troopers, let's do the Ions for now. Now, what else would we like to see? With the guidance, you can guidance a core trooper unit. So, you know what? And you've got, well, you don't need that. Well, unless you want more charging units. If you want more charging units, let's try Fleet Troopers. Another one. And then the 2 Ewok Skirmishers. Let's just do that with the Axe, Ewok, and Called Arms so that they can get that charge. And then maybe let's give them the Trapper too so that they can also have the Forest Dwellers to get that Scout. So that way they can get closer. And then let's do... We only have 2. So we could, if we wanted to, do some Swoop Bikes. And with the Swoop Bikes, let's do 2 of those. Just to have some fun. No, we don't want Swoop Bikes. That doesn't matter. We have 1. We have the Bad Batch. Let's make sure that we have a Rebel Trooper. We have 6. Let's see. Let's take out a fleet and put in a normal Rebel Trooper. Or should we put in a veteran? No, they're movement 1. So let's do a Rebel Trooper unit with the medical droid in case we need to heal any of the Bad Batch. And if you needed to, Lando Calrissian can guidance the Rebel Troopers with the medical droid closer in case they're not close enough to the Bad Batch. Like, so maybe you played the 3-pip, so that gives them speed 3. So now they're going to double move speed 3, and maybe you're not at range. Well, maybe you can guidance this trooper unit up, and then they can still shoot and a whole bunch of other goodies. And then let's do the DLT, because the DLT is going to have critical 1 at range 1 to 4. And so maybe if they... you know what? Hold on. No, let's get rid of that one. Let's put the medical droid on one of these guys. And then they'll add a second one for fun. Let's do that. So now we have 6 core. You have lots to guidance. Now, if you want something that is more fun and annoying, give them Jin. Because, again, Jin being able to just kind of do her own thing with the independent aim, or sorry, independent move. Let's do a speeder truck for line of sight blocking. Let's also be able to give out a dodge to her with Shriv. And with her nimble, and agile, she's gonna get lots of dodges. And let's do a backworld medic. Should we do any emergency stems? Let's not, but we have 2 ways to medic the Bad Batch and Jin if we need to. And with Jin, we encourage 3, possibly some suppression from the backworld medic is going to be okay, and along with the Bad Batch, if one of them had to be cured by the backworld medic. So maybe let's also do HQ uplink just in case. So maybe you have your backworld medic in position, maybe you just recover, and then next round you're good to go. Or if you know that next round's going to be crazier, you can, HQ uplink that round. Round 1, you probably don't need to pop HQ uplink unless you're really just trying not to go with them too early. And then let's see, we're at 10 activations. Let's try throw in a little sleeper cell here. We can throw in 2 of them, but we're a little up on points. We've got a little too many to give them the astromech because we're 6 points over. So let's see, you have 3 ion troopers. How about we do just an impact trooper? That'll give us 8 more points. Hey, guess what? How about we do some emergency stims on Jin? And that way, next round, you can get the backworld medic to her. And yeah, there you go. 12 activations isn't a lot for Rebels. I feel like there's too many, upgrades. But, with the Bad Batch and Jin, they're going to be so preoccupied with trying to get those that they ignore your other ones. And then maybe your sleeper cells and everyone else can start taking stuff out. And then your background medic and your line of sight blocker can help a lot. And if they get close, you've got to your if they get close to your speeder truck with anything that's has impact, you've got maybe the rebel troopers with the MPL ion. You got 2 of those. You can have the rebel troopers with the SX-21. Maybe they can be getting out of the bus. If you don't want the emergency stims on Jin, you give it to the people coming out of the bus instead. So let's just say, do you want the fleet troopers or the impact gun coming out of the bus? Well, that's up to you. Let's just pretend it'll be the fleet troopers. Let's put the emergency stims on them. So there you go. 12 activations with the Bad Batch. It's not the most thought out and hashed out just yet, but yeah, that is mostly it. Alright guys, sorry for such a long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much, and y'all have a wonderful day.